Hello viewers, and welcome to Allayi on Endless. I just want to show you my world gen settings here. Basically everything is default except that I play on the Pangea world type because I feel that a lot of water disadvantages the AI. They do not prioritize ship technology as highly as they need to. They often won't attack empires that are on other continents, stuff like that. It's easier for the computer to play if we're all on the same continent. I want to win, but I don't want to win because the AI can't handle water. I had enough of that in Civ 5, thank you very much. So, what makes the Alayi special? There's a couple of things. Actually, maybe they'll tell us right here.
You beings fixed, inflexible, and slow are not true Oregons, and do not see that she, our mother, as her life ebbs low, shall be delivered by the Alayi. For we, who change, adapt, and persevere, will fight for her survival come what may. So heed these dire warnings most sincere, for ruin comes to those who bar our way.
Okay, that didn't tell us almost anything. The one piece of information that we did get from that is that the Alayi are native to Auriga, and I think they may be the only race that is. Or the Draken might also be. But a lot of the races in the game, a lot of the factions in the game come from experimentation by the Endless, and actually some of them are from other planets, ships that crashed on Auriga and stuff like that. Alright, so what makes the Alayi special? First of all, shifting. Each one of the Alayi faction units has a light form and a dark form. In general, you're going to be in your light form during the summer, your dark form during the winter. The light form has extra defense, extra health regen, stuff like that, defensive abilities. The dark form has offensive abilities, extra attack, and extra movement as well. So, dark form is far more aggressive. We're probably going to want to, generally speaking, be doing war in our dark form. So to conquer people, we want to be in dark form while we're doing it, which means that unlike most races, we actually want to be at war during the winter. Alright, Battlefield Symbiosis, we get plus 15% morale or plus 15% initiative per point of positive morale. So for Alayi, initiative has the same relationship to morale that attack and defense do, basically. And if you don't know what I mean by that, there is an Endless Legend Combat Basics video on my channel. I recommend you watch it. It explains all that stuff. We have Breath of Auriga, minus 100% margin of error for season prediction. 26 turns until winter. No guessing. Know exactly when the seasons will change. That's important in a lot of ways, partially because, as I mentioned, our combat and movement abilities are somewhat controlled by the season. Mercurial Diplomats, minus 25% influence cost of declarations during winter, and minus 25% influence cost of treaties during the summer. A declaration is any diplomatic event where you don't need the consent of the other empire. You can just unilaterally declare. So things like compliments and warnings, degrading your diplomatic status, like from peace to Cold War, for example, closing your borders, that kind of stuff. Whereas a treaty is anything where you do need the consent of the other empire, so upgrading your diplomatic status, establishing commercial agreements, that kind of thing. We are Pearl sensitive. Anytime a Pearl cluster spawns on a tile that we have ever seen, we can see that on the map. It makes it very easy for us to find the pearls. In addition, we can get pearls while searching ruins, which is really important for reasons you'll see in a couple of minutes here. We Chosen Few. This is the trait that has the largest effect on our game. This is what's going to make us play really differently from the other empires in a lot of ways. Plus 150 expansion disapproval generation on cities. That is not 150% expansion disapproval, it's plus 150% expansion disapproval. More than doubled. So we really cannot afford to have a lot of cities. Additionally, it takes twice as much food for us to get a new point of population. So we're going to have a small number of cities, and those cities are going to have very few people in them. This is very important. Certain things are a lot less valuable for the Alayi. Any building that increases the amount of resources output by citizens working is less valuable. a lot of stuff is subtly different in value. In Era 2, we have this special research we can unlock, plus 20% duration on luxury boosters when activated for each other luxury booster that's already active. So it's already going to be the case that luxury boosters are going to be pretty cheap for us because we have few cities. But this also makes them longer. So they're cheap for us and they're longer. They're very efficient. We want to be rocking the luxury boosters all the time. We have the Garth of the Allayi. This is actually a replacement for the Borough Streets. This is the district we have instead of Borough Streets. If you look at the stats and you know what a Borough Street does, you'll notice this is actually better. The Garth gives more stats, gives a better stat increase on being leveled up, and is available every 1 population instead of every 2 population. Although, if you remember, we need double food for population, so really what that means is we get the same amount of districts per food as everybody else, basically. But what it doesn't say on here, what it doesn't make perfectly clear, is that these cost pearls. Each one of these is going to cost 10 pearls to build. So it's important for us to build up a stockpile of pearls from ruin searching early so that we can afford to expand our cities. We also start with the shipyard tech and the Skyfin tech. This is our first era troop. Skyfin is pretty different from other troops. It's not really that useful for battling, but it does a lot of other cool things. We'll talk about that in a couple of minutes when we get one, because we're going to get one for free from like the first step of our faction quest. Zoomed out a little bit too far. Alright, what do we got? So every time we search a ruin and successfully find dust or resources, we'll also find like between 1 and 4 pearls. Alright, I am not overjoyed with the region so far, but I mean a lot of forest can be pretty good. We don't see any other resources. I do see that we have a river. We also have a lot of weird cliffs, which will make it a little awkward for us to navigate to find the best location for our initial city, but also will help us defend the city from attackers. Also, you may have noticed this unit moved a lot. These guys have 6 move. The default unit for the Alayi is a cavalry unit. Obviously, I have a great fondness for cavalry units because ranged units are very powerful and cavalry units are very good against ranged units. I don't think I'm going to search this ruin because I think we're going to let the hero do it. But it looks like we actually do have quite a... No, actually, we don't. I was going to say we do have quite a bit of river, thinking that this was going to be all in this region, but no, we can see the region border ends right there. So I think what we may end up doing is founding right here. Only 6 science and 0 dust, but quite a lot of industry and a fair amount of food. Quite a lot of food, actually. Yeah, I think this is going to be our initial settle. So we're going to send our hero off in this direction and pick up this ruin and then get moving on exploration. Alright, so much like the roving clans, these guys get to see a lot of ruins and a lot of piles very quickly. And it's even more important for us to get a lot of early ruin searching done than it is for the roving clans, again, due to the fact that our city districts cost pearls. You're going to need Mill Foundry, and then probably Parlay, but we'll let it ride for now. Make that decision when we have to decision. Alright, be the first to gather at least 30 units of 1 luxury resource at the end of turn. It doesn't mean have gathered 30 units of 1 luxury, it means have 30 units in your storehouse at the same time of 1 luxury. And the reward is 130 die. That would be pretty useful. I don't know how likely it is that we'll be able to get this, but it would be good to have. And this is Pacify 8 villages to get plus 15% initiative on all your units for the rest of the game. This is a really nice one to get. We might be able to pull this off. We're going to be able to talk to a lot of villages, certainly. I think this does cement Language Square needs to be our second. Actually, it's going to take 6 turns for us to finish the Founders Memorial. We don't need to have the Mill Foundry done right away. I'm going to do this. We'll have a couple turn gap between our Founders Memorial and our Mill Foundry. Between the Founders Memorial finishing and the Mill Foundry starting, and we'll start building a unit or something with that gap. But I want to get on this pacifying villages thing. Plus 15% initiative for all of our units forever would really be nice to have. Also, we have a green Draken player in the game. Now, the Alayi have on the faction selection screen their main victory type listed as quest. So in theory, our quest victory is something that we should reasonably be able to do. Alright, search the indicated ruins to regain control over the Skyfin unit flying in the region. Now let's read some faction quest. When Auriga brings forth her fruit in winter, a sign that once again our time has come. So the burden and the glory fall to me. We have taken the return of the Guardians as a signal. In the forests and the mountains we come together to rebuild our culture. In my hands sits the waxed and oiled leather pouch, black with age, that contains the Epistle of Vros Greyspire and the Eucologium, the Ways of Prayer. Through all the silent years we have guarded these scrolls, handing them down from father to son, waiting for the moment when we could once again serve our role as sentinels of Mother Auriga. We are together, except for the flying Skyfin, a symbol of our power and freedom. With its strength, we can reclaim our place by her side. These pearls, the winter fruit of the Epistle, signal our resurgence. We will harvest them and use them to build an altar to Auriga. As we do her bidding, we will grow our own strength. Yeah, so they do want us to build an altar, actually. That's going to be what we do with our first 10 pearls. But first, let's get a free Skyfin. Who wants to go get the free Skyfin? I guess the hero can go do it. That's fine. Alright, let's talk about free Skyfin, because the Skyfin is awesome. Actually, let's talk about all of our units real quick. So, first of all, the Skyfin. Look at how cool that guy looks. He's a very strange unit. First of all, he's flying and has 8 speed. Secondly, like I said, not actually very good at combat, especially considering his very high production cost, which includes quite a number of pearls. But he definitely has a purpose. So he's solitary, like a guardian, cannot be joined by other units in an army. He will always be an army unto himself. Another point against him as far as combat goes. He has shifter nature, like all shifter units. Light form, plus 20% defense, plus 10% health regen, minus 50% dust upkeep cost. Or in dark form, plus 20% attack, immunity to the winter movement reduction, immunity to the winter vision reduction, and then on top of that, plus vision and movement. So everybody else slows down during the winter, we get faster. This is one of the things that makes doing war during the winter so advantageous for us. All Alayi units have a second shifter ability, each one a unique version, a unique ability that changes during the season. So this guy gives plus morale to a friendly target and to friendly units adjacent to that target for 3 turns. In dark form, it does the opposite. It subtracts morale from an opponent and opponents adjacent to that target. So it's a spell that he casts. And then this is where we get to what he's for. So let's look at Auriga Affinity first. Plus 20% pearls received when collecting pearls. Find a pile that has 10 pearls in it, you move your Skyfin onto it, you get 12 pearls out of it. But this is something really special here. First of all, prevents the army from being attacked by roaming armies. Minor faction armies spawned from villages and quests just won't attack a Skyfin. That's great. You can run around collecting pearls to your heart's content and not have to worry about ordinary minor factions. But it also gives him the army action Aspirate, which is pretty weird. What Aspirate does is you can park him on top of a luxury or strategic resource, hit the Aspirate button, and he basically turns into an extractor. You can move him off, and doing so cancels the Aspirate, but as long as he's sitting there aspirating, he gathers the resource for you. In addition, if he's in a region that has a city, the city gets immediate vision of him as soon as he starts aspirating, so if you're stealing somebody's resources, they know about it right away. And secondly, he gives, I believe it's 5, approval to the city in the region. So, in the early game, if an Alayi player flies his little Skyfin over to your city before you have Extractor Tech, plants his dude on your thing and starts aspirating, it's actually beneficial to you to leave him alone so that you're getting the free approval, which I think is pretty cool. It has a nice, like, diplomatic thing going on. Early in multiplayer games, you can make little agreements with people. Hey, can I eat this resource for a little while and give you just enough approval to push your empire from content to happy? Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we are going to be using this guy to search ruins, find pearls. Probably he won't be doing a lot of aspirating at this point in the game, but that will change eventually. Alright, and now we need to build the altar. get 80 dust for doing so. We actually are probably going to get a lot of dust early in the game, like the roving clans often do, just be sheer number of ruins that we get to search. Alright, so we're at 6 pearls right now. And by the way, 8 speed and flying. I was not joking when I said this guy is really good at finding ruins and pearls. Okay, build 2 early luxury extractors to get the tech that doubles the efficiency of early luxury extractors. That is an okay quest. Remember, we started with Shipyard too, so this guy actually can go out to sea and uncover islands very early on. I think we're gonna send this guy straight north and leave this ruin for our hero. Oh, I didn't actually look at what the other units do. Let me educate. That's our settler. By the way, this is what our settlers look like. I think that looks pretty cool. Alright, so these guys have shifter nature. It does the same thing on these units as it does on everything else. The unique shifting ability they have is shifter charge, like most cavalry units, a charge ability. So in light form, when they hit somebody, that person loses minus 10% attack for each point of movement that our guy spent for 3 turns. And in dark form, they lose defense instead. Remember, in dark form we have bonus attack, and in light form we have bonus defense, so this just sort of doubles down on that theme. We survive battles during the summer, we murder enemies during the winter. And then, of course, Infantry Slayer, block, and Sharp Sense, because he has a one-handed sword and a shield, and that's what those things do. And our hero has some special stuff as well. Shifting Nova. Shifter nature, just the same. Starts with Auriga affinity, so a little better at collecting pearls. And then Shifting Nova. Every time our hero attacks, it will heal any adjacent ally for 15% of his damage. And anytime he attacks while he's in dark form, he deals normal damage to the target and then does a little bit of AoE to all of the units around it, sort of like the Ardent Mage ranged unit does. And then we also have Food Boost 1 and Army Health Boost 1. Neither of these are like mind-blowingly powerful, but we will be using this unit as an army commander, because you know how I feel about early ranged commanders. Also, let's take a look at the faction tree real quick, so just so that you know what we're looking at. Army ignores movement penalties from rough terrain. This is pretty cool. Lets you get through forests and stuff quickly. Bribe cost reduction is fine. I don't use bribe a lot, but if you do, that's cool. Minus pearl costs for buildings that cost pearls while this guy's acting as a governor. This is just not a very good skill. The Alayi are not going to be pressed for pearls, but if you're playing as another faction and you found yourself landlocked, you can't get through to any place else because the enemy has closed they've walled you in and closed borders on you, this might be valuable because you might really not be able to collect a lot of pearls. This improves his Auriga affinity capacity, makes him better at collecting pearls. This is interesting. If you take both points of it, this completely removes the health damage for retreating. So you can retreat completely free. I have not yet found a reason to do that, but I'm sure there must be a good reason. And then finally, at the very top, coup de grace, plus attack based on the amount of health that his target is missing when he attacks. So this is cool, and it's also worth noting that you can come up here, go from Artisan's Eye to Cold Operator, and then from Cold Operator to coup de grace, because they're all in the same tier. So even if you are going military command, you can still pick this up easily. Alright, what was I doing? I don't know. I was probably trying to get, like, ruins and pearls and dust and stuff. Alright, so we split up our units in the early game. We can cover a lot of ground very quickly. We are looking for new settling locations, as well as getting as many parlays and ruin searches off in the early game as humanly possible. Resources in the early game are worth a tremendous amount in the sense that they accelerate you. Here we see the purple player, and we know that purple is not Draken. Alright, if we colonize this region, we'll get some wine. That's cool. I like wine. Also, this region's minor faction is Kazanji. So I don't see anything leaping out at me yet as far as settling locations go. Found nothing in the ruin, which is very disappointing. Oh, taking advantage of that ship tech. Look at that. Look at the efficiency of that move. Actually, this region doesn't look terrible. There's a lot of river, which means tiles that have extra points of resources on them. Yeah, this isn't so bad. A lot of what we do in the early game is going to be shaped by the movements of our enemies. We're not going to be settling as many regions in the early game as we often would due to our tremendous expansion disapproval. So we have to be a little bit cautious. Make sure that we get good regions and make sure that we get sort of non-contentious regions. I'm debating about whether I want to spend this spice booster, because first of all, the plus food effect is helpful, and secondly, plus 5 approval moves us from content to happy. But also, I do want to stockpile to try to get Wealth Harvester. You know what, I think the odds that we're going to just find 20 more spices is probably not terribly high. So, we move up to happy, plus 15% dust and science at the Empire level, and plus 15% food and industry at the city level. So, both pretty good. Now, we could... Of course, there are spices here. We could use Aspirate to try to get us to 30 units of a single resource. Do we have a luxury in our starting region? We do. We have spices. So if we got the luxury extractor tech and we aspirated on a spice deposit like this one, we maybe could actually pull that off. That might be worth doing. Alright, I don't want to stray too far from the home region because I would like to parlay with our home region minor faction. We will continue exploring, but not actually in a hurry to meet them. The moment we meet them, we have to start worrying about what they think of us. So I'm going to try to stay out of their land unless it becomes very advantageous to me to go into it. 3 pearls, that was nice. Okay, wow, we have a lot of borders awfully close to us already. Give these guys 50 dust. Yeah, okay. What do you want? You want us to give you 5 glass steel? Well, that seems unlikely. So let's start hitting these guys up with the parlay. Locate a Yotus village and destroy it. The one downside of zooming out, playing at this level of zoom, is that it's a little hard to identify cliff faces. Especially if the higher part of the cliff is south of the lower part. What am I doing? Like, I can parlay with that. So assign 2 units permanently to the Hernes village to get 10 Moonleaf. That is a significant bonus, but I do not want to do the thing that they're asking. Alright, what do these guys want? They want 10 glass steel. Everybody wants glass steel. Except these haunts, they want spices. Well, looks like we maybe want to get on luxury extractor tech early. Yay, new citizens. Alright, well, this is a pretty large region, it looks like. Aldo Dev. He can parlay over the cliff face because he is flying. Colonize the region. The eyeless ones will be happy about that. We have a bunch of anomalies really close together, which is often a pretty good sign. We have some reasonable Reasonable amount of river tiles, reasonably close to the cluster of anomalies. I mean, if we found it right here, it'd have a tremendous amount of industry. Not a lot else, actually. Well, no, that's not true. There's quite a bit of dust here as well. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad at all. Unfortunately, it's taken us forever to get buildings built because we're bad at numbers. Just like all kinds of numbers. We still have yet to make a motion on our altar as well. Oh, we got lust for loot. Every hero search this location. Okay, you got it. What are these guys gonna do? I don't particularly need them to do anything. I guess they'll just hang out sort of around this region in case Lust for Loot wants us to search something over here. You guys can keep exploring for now. Oh, I already talked to... Yeah, I talked to that village. And I totally didn't... I was going to talk to these guys, and then I turned around and walked away. Alright, so we get 20 influence from the first step of Lust for Loot. That's not a great reward. Okay. We don't have the mill foundry yet, but we will soon. Very soon. I think we build up in... Well, if we build in this direction, we'll pick up some more science. This actually isn't bad. 3 science, 3 industry. The science is definitely what we're shortest on right now. Yeah. Actually, no. We want to expand this way, I think. So even though this doesn't get us any more science, it does at least get us 4 more industry. I don't really want to expand toward the corner. And even if I did, I don't think that that's where I'd want to put the altar, because we do want to level the altar up. So like, even if my triangle ends up looking like this, I'd really much rather have the altar in the middle of a side. Of course, we don't necessarily have to build a triangle. I know I always do, but that's not like a requirement. Let's see if we can find everybody else's borders as well. Wow, been some real bad luck there. Couple of bad searches in a row. I don't know. This guy's fine where he is. You need to actually parlay with these people. Nope, they just don't even want to talk to you. Alright, so our quest, our legendary deed, rather, asks us to pacify 8 villages. I don't think we got a single minor faction quest that is feasible to do. What did we end up with? Bring 5 glass steel to somebody, bring 10 glass steel to somebody. I guess this isn't too bad. You can destroy a village. That's a thing we're totally good at. Bring 10 glass steel to somebody, bring 10 spices to somebody. Colonize a region, that's something we're theoretically capable of. Although doing it quickly is going to be kind of a bummer on account of all of our expansion disapproval. I guess this guy should... Okay, this is the village we have to destroy for free our people. Maybe that's what this guy should do. Let's run up there and blow that village up. Hey, this is the fastest route. Man. There's a lot of cliffs over here. I'd be really excited about that if I were playing a faction that had ranged units by default. Alright, search the ruin, get the influence, and meet purple. Hello, purple. Alright, which direction? Purple is okay. That means Gimail is actually probably free. G secures Gimail. Yeah. Alright, oh, and where's the next step of the quest? 20 influence again. That actually really sucks. When you get lust for loot, you're hoping for, you know, luxury resources or large amounts of dust or something. I don't need all this influence in the early game. I don't have a way of using it, even. But we'll be able to get... here's pink. So what one player do we not know the position of yet? Yeah, we know who green is, but we don't know where. Alright, well... this is crappy. So the ruin we're looking for is... right there. Alright, so next turn, we'll move this guy onto this ruin, do the search, and then probably assign him to this army and kill that village. Also, we almost have the mill foundry done, and I think we have enough dust. Or we might be a little tiny bit short of dust. Rush it. It might be 170. Let's do this for a turn. Yay, influence. Okay, spices. This is a start. Sign here, and let's take out this village. This should be fairly straightforward, but of course we always have to manual because the AI cannot be trusted to behave in a sensible fashion. We're going to move everybody back a little bit so that these guys can move up but can't attack. Because I don't want to endure their ranged nonsense. And we are all going to have at this guy. Oh wow. Good work, everybody. Way to do a terrible job. Alright, we're gonna have our hero move up so that we can take advantage of the AoE heal from his attacks. Look at that. 2. Yeah. But even further. Look at that. I have this new mouse and I can actually like give orders and it follows them. Okay, I was starting to get a little concerned, though, that I was actually going to lose a Seeker. Alright, so we got 10 grass silk for doing that. If we go back to them, they'll give us 15 gold, which is actually pretty good. That's a good resource. Let us parlay with this tribe. Maybe they'll give us a quest that is easy to do. Alright, well, they give us a quest that I don't have to think about, at least. I sure hope that gets done. I really don't have any way of... getting it done. But, you know, sometimes that quest auto-completes. Fairly frequently, that quest just auto-completes without you doing anything. And in those cases, you can get up to 3 pacified villages for free. Right, mill foundry needed. Probably need science, then dust and food. Was indeed 178. I'm glad I briefly changed my assignments here. That'll help a lot with the altar getting finished. Oh, right, the Lust for Loot ruin. I was totally going to hit that first. What is the prize for this level? It's 15 spices, which is actually, like, I maybe care about. Yeah, damn it, well. We'll turn this in because we can do it in one move, and then we'll get that. Alright, cool. So, how many villages was that? Because I didn't actually... Alright, we have pacified 4 villages. That puts us in first place on this. A village that is destroyed counts as pacified, so that's where the 4th one came from, in case you were curious. Alright, and I think I'm actually going to send our guy back and have him aspirate on our spice deposit. Might yet be able to get 30 spices piled up. So wait, do we have a quest from these guys? We totally don't. Oh, they didn't want to negotiate. Okay, we can get that done. That'll be 2 more villages. That'll put us at 6. And then I don't know how many villages there are in this region. If that auto-completes, we could be in pretty good shape here as far as this quest goes. And we have our faction quest coming along. I'm a little nervous about spending luxuries, but it's not going to be gold that pushes us to 30. Alright, 80 dust and 15 glass steel for searching that ruin. That's pretty great. It definitely would have been better for me to come back and search this and then go see those guys. I certainly screwed up there. But this has been a fantastic amount of XP for our hero, nice and early. Alright, and so we will aspirate. Actually, okay, you don't even have to do it, as long as you're sitting. Gaining 3 XP, providing an approval bonus to the region city, and gathering the deposits. So, plus 1. It's 1 per turn. So 15 turns, that is maybe not reasonable. It may very well be finished by then. Oh, we failed that quest. Somebody got to him. Let us not reactivate the spice booster for the moment. We're going to be able to buy whatever we want on this Empire plan, at least. So these guys, this Haunts wanted 10 spices. I guess we're just going to wait. Right, and that's 80 dust, that's nice. We'll reach a level of Fervent across the Empire, we'll get 15 spices. Okay. We're at 80. We could go to 90. Or even 95. Let us... We'll get the sewer system, that'll help us get there. And then, from there, we can build a settler. Or actually, do I build my settler right now? Let's get a turn of work done on this settler. At least. See how many turns it takes to research. Yeah, the sewer system. Sewer system needs to be available to us faster than that. Wow. Yeah, let's do this. Get that sewer system done faster. We need that quicker. It's an unacceptably long time. Our people are just running waves of excrement just running down the streets. It's terrible. Unacceptable. Okay, so 80 more dust. Actually, we can just buy out that library, can't we? Hell yeah. We didn't find anything the second time. We're back up to 7 pearls. And we can maybe actually hit the Gorin games on our way back. Wasn't that... Is that right here? Running with the hunt. Okay, it's over here. It's a little out of our way, actually. And it looks like that may be the only village in that region. Pacifying them is not necessarily a high priority. We're in 2nd place now. We need to get a little bit more done. Okay, never mind. Goring games unavailable. The AI destroyed the city. Well, that certainly makes that decision easy. Oh, nice. 70 dust. That is a good find. Right, we waited long enough that we are getting minor faction spawns. So I guess the question is, do I go settle Aldodev? Did I have a... I had a quest for this. How many villages are in Aldodev? Just 1? It is a region that has some pretty good land, though. And access to both of the first tier strategics, actually. I still don't know what faction blue is. I don't know what faction anybody is, really. There's something to be said for the value of ignorance, insofar as it keeps the enemy from hating me early in the game, but also I kind of wish I knew who my neighbors were so that I could pick the direction of my settling a little bit more reasonably. Alright, we're gonna pound out a seeker real quick and then get on the construction of that sewer system. And before the settler settles, we'll have sewer system. It'll put us up to fervent. And this is coming along. Yeah, we're gonna be okay. We're gonna do this. Somebody just beat me to the pacify. Yeah, that's fair. I was not getting it done particularly quickly. Alright, well I no longer need to make moves based on that. I still think colonizing Aldodev is right, though. Like, hit this and that, wall off blue, and then maybe head back for one of these. Honestly, if I take these two and this one, you may all just sit empty. Well, we'll just sit empty until blue destroys purple, which is something that absolutely will happen. Unless I destroy purple first, I guess. Alright, so I think I do want to found right here. Right, is that... Yeah, that's reasonable. So we're just gonna chill. I wouldn't want to settle right now anyway. I'd wait until after the Empire plan. Alright, come back home and let's kill these haunts. What did you want? Okay, that's a thing we'll actually do. So we'll get that for free. Yep, just stay put. Please don't get attacked by things. It's not entirely under their control. Still don't. What are you doing? Alright, we've mostly healed up. We have to be a little careful. I think he was trying to attack us before we got in range of the city. But we can take advantage of our range a little bit here. So these guys have 2 speed and flying. We don't actually want to be there. And he'll be in range of us. Okay. Everybody, hurt these guys. Do I... This guy has 30 attack and 28 damage. He's actually not that much weaker at this point in the game than a normal unit. So I think we'll just have him contribute. Get a little bit of healing off of our hero attack. Take a ton of damage and deal basically no damage ever. These guys have 46 defense. That actually is a completely insane amount of defense for them to have. Ow, 58, Christ. Yeah, we cannot deal damage to them because of all the defense. Oh, okay, those guys are dead. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We lose a Seeker. Our hero needs to actually, he should be distributing very small heals every time he attacks. Alright, never mind. I forgot about the fact that you only have 2 speed, and it's going to take you a year to get over there. 58 damage. Ugh. Alright, so we lost the Seeker in a really dumb way. Fortunately, we just built a new one. Get on the sewer system as quickly as possible. This and this. I don't think I actually want to do anything else. We're gonna only spend that much influence, and you just chill. for a couple of turns. Oh yes, and also I suppose we should research them. So we do need this and this. We should pick up Mercenary Market before we leave Era. Right, if nobody else picks up that thing in 7 turns, we'll get it automatically. Cool. Pacification. This will go a little bit more smoothly since we get to hide behind the militia in the city. Attack. We're not giving you anything except death. It's a good taunt, right? So our reinforcements are going to come in from this side. We should be over here. But not within movement range of the haunts. Everybody focus up on that guy. I get to move first. So actually, I think I want to attack from over here. I know they have chain lightning, and I'm setting myself up for a chain, but I just want to make sure that the hero's not completely separated from the other units and drawing the haunts off in a weird direction. Alright, yep, everybody focus on the guy who's actually got low health, please. I have to say, even with our Seeker's defense bonus, they do feel pretty fragile. This battle's going a heck of a lot better. I guess it really helps to have twice as many units. Okay. We'll rebuild that village. You know, presently, in a minute. Alright, one more turn until we settle the second city. This should put us to fervent. Actually, do I need to wait until the quest completion? Okay, it completed. There's 9 influence in one of your cities for 10 turns. So actually, that will have finished that legendary deed too when we hit next turn. I'll hand that to us. Alright. Now, Aldodev needs to produce influence anyway for this thing. 3 influence. Well, not 9. In fact, we probably are going to need to... No, we should still do this. And you'll notice that the city is still getting things done reasonably quickly by itself on account of all the industry. We certainly don't have a lot of dust to spare. So this guy can go do something else. What do we want him to do? Oh, you know what? When I was setting up my researches, I didn't make room for Alchemist Furnace. Let's cut that. Make sure we get Alchemist Furnace. Or maybe we don't have to. No, we want to, because we have a bunch of stuff here. So purple settled forward, and it's necrophages. Okay. That's not purple. But it's necrophages. So that means the army needs to move forward. We're going to have problems. The longer we can not meet them, the better, though. So Avron is completely off the table for our settling. How much did our Empire approval was really affected by that settle? A lot. We could, at this point, assimilate Haunts or the Eyeless ones. We only have access to one of each village, though. If we were to settle up north, what are these guys? Yotus? We would have 3 of their villages available. I think Yotus give plus initiative, which is not amazing. Let's run these boosters now that we can afford to do that. Unfortunately, the gold booster has run out, and there's nothing we can do about it. Use 9 influence in one of your cities for 10 turns. So actually, if we just move a single person over to this, yeah, that should do that. And then actually, I want to focus on getting some population going here. You might want to go to this thing. Let's start mining titanium before we can really mine titanium. Because I would love to try at a legendary building. I don't know how feasible it is, but Aldudev has a lot of industry. It's something that we might actually be able to get done. There's not really a lot else for us to go out and explore. Just sort of the way the terrain and the placement of the other empires worked out. Okay, blue has settled into... What is this? Is this Valters? Or maybe... It has chains with fire at the top. This might be Ardent Mages. I need to like make myself a little visual guide for what the architecture of the different factions looks like. Alright, so we are not too many turns off, probably like less than 10 turns off of the next era. Once we get there, we need to immediately research military techs, because Pink is going to want to fight somebody, and Blue is likely to have a much better army than we are, which means that Pink will be loath to choose them if it actually knows the relative size difference between the armies. Really, the only hope we have is changing the relative size difference. Alright, so this city definitely needs to build an empire mill. You also need to do that. Yeah, we should buy that out. Oh, hey look, it's Red. Hello, Red. We can probably turn off the resource overlay for the moment. We do want to get another city settled, like, relatively soon. Oh, it's winter. Alright, so we got 10 Moonleaf, and unfortunately, we got that after 10 was not the right number anymore. But, you know, maybe it'll come into play later, or we'll get to trade it for something. So our army actually gains movement speed during the winter. We also do actually have a physical, like, it actually does change the models. You know, from light to dark. You can see it changed all the icons as well. I think it's pretty cool. I also think we don't want to stop aspirating this just yet. Ooh, actually, we are hemorrhaging dust right now. That getting finished helped, but it's not enough. So let's move the Empire Mint up. Maybe like all the way up. Yeah, this is a little crummy. So we're gonna have to be very careful. Pink is settling very aggressively across our border. Red settled forward on us as well. Everybody's doing their best to settle into us. We should take Gulji. We should take Gulji soon. And then we may... maybe I should take this instead. Blue has already advanced a lot in this direction. Maybe they won't try to, like, wrap around us. If they do wrap around us, it's going to be really awkward for us if they declare war. And then Pink is in a position to be a real pain. But this city is... well, it doesn't matter. I was going to say, this city is probably the weakest that it's ever going to be right now, and we could just run over there and attack them. But we don't. We don't have our tier 2 weapons yet, and I really want to wait for that. So I think that we're going to see some hostilities in the very near future. Also think that we should head in this direction and start getting ready to take up the Prunes. So you can see any tile that we've seen, we can see when pearls spawn on it. Gonna make sure to get those right away so that we can afford to build Garths. And as soon as this titanium extractor is done, we can move this guy off of the titanium. He will no longer need to aspirate. What are you doing? Oh, what is this? Search the 2 ruins in Gulji in order to find the right location, but beware of the Titicate armies roaming there. Alright. Actually, I just clicked through that. It gives Palladian. It gives 40 Palladian. Yeah, we need to do that then. All of a sudden, I care. Hi, red guy. So red guy is on 37 attack, 27 damage. Compared to our... Okay, so he's upgraded his units, probably with just tier 2 iron armor. Would be my guess. Alright, they're about to be done with their empirement, which hopefully will mean that we can start to be dust positive, because we need to be able to pay to retrofit our units. As it is now, that's looking like a pretty sketchy proposition. Actually, can I move you off of... Yeah, alright, I can move you off of industry without adding a turn to that. Let's really, really try to get this economy under control here. And I'd love to produce a legendary building in Aldodev. Now that we've finished the empirement, it's something I can maybe actually think about. So an extra accessory slot is itself not actually valuable to us, but it's on the way to things that are valuable to us. I really do want to settle this region just for the 3 free population. Increase the size of our empire by 50%. These guys are not accomplishing anything on food since we're building a seeker. Now, if we tried to build the Museum of Auriga, it would be... Oh, you actually have to be on food. Or else we're going to... The city is going to blow up. Alright, one of these guys up here probably has to move to dust then. We have 1 on, we're just even. How many of these guys can I take off industry without adding a turn to that settler? Alright. 3 turns to settler and actually positive, and in 2 turns we'll be able to equip our units with good armor, good-ish armor, and then hopefully not too many turns in the future after that, glass steel weaponry. And Aldodev would love to create the Museum of Auriga, but 22 turns I just think is infeasible. So you have 23 industry. We actually have 35 here. Why do we have so much more? We have 15 coming from our city tiles, whereas Aldodev has only 14. It's because we have all the extra forest. Well, okay. Let's see if we can get it. Hopefully we'll be able to move some of these people off of industry eventually. So you need to make... Yeah, this seems like a fine order for these things. And also, glass, steel, and titanium extractors go on the list. Maybe... No, probably after the Eyeless One's village. Yeah, I think so. Alright, and then after we upgrade these troops, I want to get on that quest for sure. The payout of that quest is actually really significant. 40 Palladian would be a big deal for our future prospects. Alright, somebody else has a 30-unit army, and when I say somebody else, I mean the Necrophage player. I would put money on it being him. One more turn for our pathetic military to become a very slightly less pathetic military. And also it's summary. I am totally fine with it being summer again, actually. So we can keep these boosters running for a little while. We actually have to put our Skyfin back on the devices for a minute. That's fine. You know, he's doing what he's good at. Yeah, there was no way we were doing that. Assign 2 units permanently to the village? No. No. Alright, that's got to be our first research. 5 turns in an eternity. Alright, so what does it look like if we put our Seekers in Tier 2 metal armor? Basic Tier 2 iron armor. Actually, what about weapons as well? 15 attack, 4 damage, versus 9 attack with no extra damage. It would be cool to equip them with weapons, but I'm curious, what are the retrofitting costs? Okay, the retrofitting costs of just this are pretty prohibitive. Yeah, we need to keep these guys on dust. We are about to get a move on our faction quest, though. This will help. When Alderdev has their what do you call it? It'll move them up 20 approval points, which will help our Empire-wide approval as well. Alright. Try to be adjacent to these guys. Man, that's a lot of roaming armies. Alright, we can afford to retrofit our army. I don't think we can afford to improve our hero at the same time, sadly. Raise the altar to level 2, or hold 100 pearls forever. Jeez. Okay, so we'll get minus 20% blessing pearl costs on Empire. That's pretty handy. And we'll get 25 glass steel, which will be really helpful when we're trying to make all of our armor and weapons out of glass steel. So you can afford what? What can we do with 20 dust? That. So that's 10 defense and 26 health. How much are the boots? I think this is fine. Alright, a little bit of reinforcement. We're close enough to the city that we should... Oh, there's a second Eyeless One's village in this region. Alright, I think we should be able to beat these guys. If we can't beat these guys, it's going to look real bad. So let's fall back. Let the reinforcements from the city come in and help us. There's no reason to put the lives of the expensive units on the line first. Which one of these guys is first? Alright, so he's going to move forward 2 spaces, probably to right here. This guy moves to right here. And I actually think I want... So if this guy moves to here, our hero also only has speed 2. He would move forward to here and not be able to hit him. But then on this guy's turn, he would be able to move forward. So I think actually what I do is I issue hold position orders on everybody except the militia. This way the militia will get in range. Draw their fire. That guy actually just... It's up there and wow. Wow, that is some lopsided damage. My units. Why must they be so terrible? This guy actually has a lot of initiative. Make sure that I move forward as much as possible on each of these turns. Okay, that wasn't too bad. The extra defense is definitely helping. Seeing a lot of zeros out here, gentlemen. Also, a lot of evenly dividing our damage over all possible enemy targets, which is, let's say, Plan B, where the B stands for bad. That is the bad plan. Oh, you know what? I forgot to explicitly instruct my hero to move, so he'll probably stand still and attack from this tile, which is, yeah, non-ideal. I don't think it's gonna matter. Yeah, because this guy's gonna deal with the problem. Alright, well, let's be thankful for that bonus health regen speed while they're in light form. Also, that was a level for that guy. That was not... Opens up the ruin. Hey, we found it. Awesome. 40 Palladium. That is great. When we move up to the next era of weaponry, we'll be able to build some stuff more quickly than we otherwise might. Okay. Let's get a settler out of Iberian now, and I think that this is where we're going calling the episode, maybe right after the settle, actually. So, rearrange these guys over onto industry. We had to raise the altar to level 2. This is part of that, you know, and then we build a Garth here and a Garth here, and we're all set. Except we need more population. What is this? Somebody's commending us for peacefulness. It's Green, who unfortunately is nowhere to be found. And Blue has actually settled all the way around Purple. That's a very annoying thing for them to have done. So what are we going to do with this settler? Do I want to settle Gulji? If I were to settle here, where would it be? Settle on the river, like right here, take advantage of this food, or take advantage of this tile. The river makes these tiles only as bad as normal tiles, rather than slightly better than normal tiles, which is what tiles along a river should be. And that way Aldo, Dev, and that city would be really close together, and they can defend themselves, or defend each other. I actually kind of appreciate the red settled here now, just because I bet if they didn't, pink would have. Yeah, I think for the shape of our nation, probably the safest thing to do is settle Gulji. If we settle... is that an Intai? If we settle Intai, then it's going to be basically impossible for Intai and Aldo Dev to contribute to each other's defense because of the distance involved. Our units are fast, but they're not that fast. If we settle Gulji, we have this nice, like, it's only a one-turn walk from any city to any other city. But Intai is way more valuable as a position. Mostly because of the 3 villages giving us free population. We really need population quite badly. Well, I think it is Gulji, but I'm not happy about it. And then maybe Gmail. Or actually, it's also interesting the way this has worked out. We have no access to the ocean, because even though we have a coast up here, Red's territory expands all the way out to the impassable zone, and I bet Blue's does too. So even though we have Shipyard, we won't be able to make any use of it. I'm not happy. I'm not happy about a number of things that are going on in this game. You know, so far, every Endless series has seen me completely fail one time. And this might be that game. This might be that shaking off the rust game. I suppose there's no reason not to escort this guy. Except that when I click on the army, he doesn't join. Seriously, over here. And then you guys also go over here. Alright, so we don't need the resources on. Oh yes, we'll found the new city and then we'll call it for this video. I am definitely concerned. We only have a couple turns until it's time to start building the glass steel weaponry, although it is worth noting that we really don't have a lot of money still. Okay, we did not bring those Silics anything, that's true. Whoa, 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 whoa. What the hell? Where are you going? What was that? Why'd they just take off like that? I did not turn on auto explore. Also, we were in the middle of a fight. What happened? Look, Draken. Okay, I guess we're founding the city next turn. That was very strange. Or honestly, maybe even a couple of turns. We're about to have an empire plan. Maybe I just chill on that. Because we have a lot of influence. What's up, Purple's closing their border? That doesn't make any... closed borders doesn't mean closed borders. It means that I intend to declare war on you. Like the next turn. It's very strange that they would choose to do that at this moment. Alright, so we could research the monk, but I don't know that we need the monk right away. Let's get meritocratic promotion instead. Increase the strategic value of an army for us. Alright, I guess we're going to separate the settler out. Oh good, blue is forgotten. Fantastic. This is my nightmare. Necrophages on one side, forgotten on the other. Even if we manage to raise an army that's capable of defending us, we just end up dying to every citizen in our cities being picked off one by one due to the forgotten. Oh, and the only other person the forgotten has to play with really is purple, which is not something that's going to keep him busy for very long. We have to hope that purple and pink end up fighting, or we have to goad them into fighting. Because this is really bad for us. It's okay, you know. Listen, if you can only win when things are going well, you actually can't win. You gotta be able to play when the chips are down. You gotta be able to get your way out of disadvantageous positions. The Draken have every damn thing. These guys are attacking me just to be dicks. We will fight them. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I didn't... I'm pretty sure that the army that contains my settler was checked there. That's not very good, is how I would characterize that. But actually what I want to do, how fast are these guys? They're 3 speed. What I want to do is start like this then, And if the settler actually is here, okay, it looks like he is. He just needs to go over there. You just don't need to be a part of this battle. It's okay, buddy. And we need to burn these guys down, I guess, about as quickly as possible. It's not a big deal to lose these Seekers right now. I mean, it's not awesome. But they don't have strategic weapons yet or anything, so it's not the end of the world. Get a little bit of that shifter charge on them and reduce their attack by a little bit. Okay, now, without a doubt, 100% for certain, these guys are going to try to get to the settler. This militia guy has to stay, stand strong and be a blockade, because otherwise they will do anything to kill a settler. 54-0, and we even have real armor on. And not all of the slots, but some of them. We have real armor on, and we have bonus armor from light form, and we're still getting our asses handed to us. That was a luckier turn. Okay, finally we're getting some damage out here. Alright, so we're definitely going to lose this Seeker, but we are also definitely going to defeat this army. Oh, he lives at 2 health. Can we bring this guy down this turn? Oh, maybe. Yeah. Alright, we didn't even lose a Seeker. Blue, you're a big jerk, always. I hate the Forgotten so much. So next turn we'll settle. We're gonna let the Empire plan happen, and then we're gonna settle. And there's just so many guys running around my territory. Very nervous. I can't believe that an army with just a settler in it starts checked on the reinforcement screen. Like, it's definitely my bad for not unchecking it, but it shouldn't have been an issue. Okay, so we managed to buy the good Empire plan. which I'm very excited about. Then we need to get like all kinds of stuff running. We are all screwed up now, happiness-wise. 44% Empire approval. Because, you know, we have 3 whole cities. It's insane. Gotta get that mill foundry out. It would actually be really cool for us if we could find some Delvers to assimilate, because their faction quests where they give the Band of Merriment would be... Alright, well that's going to be it for this episode of Allayi on Endless. I have to admit that we are in an unenviable position. We're going to be at war before the end of the next video, absolutely, for sure. And it's going to be messy. Come back to watch the carnage, and we'll see you then.